Alright guys, we're looking at specialty clamps in the woodworking shop today. So these are kind of beyond your basic pipe clamp or parallel clamp. If you're looking to round out that collection, you might consider a cast jaw clamp or even a gear clamp. Today we'll even throw in one other specialty clamp that's new to me. We'll check it out and see how we like it. We'll get into it. So the first specialty clamp we'll look at is a cast jaw clamp, and I call these specialty clamps, but what I really mean is they're just not the first clamp you'll probably outfit your new woodworking shop with. When you're starting out in woodworking, you'll likely lean heavily on pipe clamps. As you get more serious into woodworking, perhaps you'll add some heavy-duty parallel clamps. But in the meantime, you might want to think about adding a cast jaw clamp to your collection. Looking at the smallest clamps in this collection, they really don't appear much different than a standard F-style clamp, although they do have the large premium handle. As you get up into the larger and larger versions, this one has a cast clamp that's nearly 6 inches long, and this one goes up to nearly 8 inches long. And these are the ones that have been such a big benefit to me in the work that I do, just because you can get closer to the center of a panel with that deep reach, and that's just something you can't do with a pipe clamp or a parallel clamp. There's something about the Acme threaded rods on the Bessey clamps and the way that they engage that I really like. Add to that the large pivoting jaw pad, and you've got yourself a really versatile clamp. The grip on Bessey clamps has always been a selling feature as well, especially since they came out with these large overmolded rubber handles. It's the same handle, in fact, that's used on the K-Body Revo parallel clamps, and if you have any experience with those, you know just how easy that is to get a good grip on those large handles. Consider subscribing, and if you like the video, give it a quick thumbs up. This just helps more people see the video and goes a long way to help support the channel. Here you get an idea of how different the clamp bar can be depending on what size of clamp you get in this cast jaw line. On this small 4-inch clamp, it's a medium duty clamp bar, very appropriate for that size clamp. But as you step up to a larger clamp with a deeper reach and a heavier rating, you get this wider and much thicker clamping bar. Another interesting specialty clamp is the Gearklamp, and this has a couple of features that I've actually found very useful on specific occasions in the woodworking shop. So let's take a closer look at the Gearklamp. And these have a really unique action on them. They're of course available in a large range of sizes, but what fascinates me is just the action of them. There's a thumb release on the back, and this is a smooth rod. It's not knurled, and so the sliding action is just very nice on that. As you engage them, you notice that the jaw pad is fairly small, but it pivots, and that can be an advantage in a number of situations if you're clamping a part that isn't perfectly square. And again, you have that large overmolded rubber knob, and you notice that the handle is right in line with the clamp bar on this model. And that's very different than a typical F-clamp. So the benefit there is you can sometimes get this gear clamp into a situation where an F-clamp or a large parallel clamp would never fit. Now I'm sure the clamping pressure on these is much less than a pipe clamp or a parallel clamp, but it's that pivoting jaw and the ability to get into tight spaces that has really helped me out in the shop. I've used these on a number of occasions when I'm re-gluing rockers onto old rocking chairs that I'm restoring. And the issue there is that rocker is not 90 degrees to the rail above it. And so if you can accommodate those odd angles, it's really a benefit in the shop. So just a better look at that thumb lever and sliding action on these gear clamps. And watch as I turn the handle. You actually see a rotation and the Acme thread appears out of this mechanism here. And so it's not a direct drive, but rather it's gear driven, and that's what gives it this unique ability to fit into tight spaces. For the more common clamps like pipe clamps, parallel clamps, and trigger clamps, check out my other video on those specific products. Now we'll link up to that video here. I'll also pop a link to it in the description box below to make it easy to find. But let's look at one other specialty clamp today. This is the one that's new to me. I'm going to tear into these packages and see what they're all about. But they look like a light duty, quick action clamp. It's called the Kliklamp. And these klick clamps, K-L-I-K-L-A-M-P, I'll have to put these through their paces because I haven't had a chance to use them yet. But it's an interesting mechanism. There's a red trigger that lets you release the pressure. But as it engages, there's this pivoting jaw. And again, that's one of the features I really look for in specialty clamps, because not everything is 90 degrees in woodworking. And when you have that ability for the head of the jaw to pivot, why then it just really opens up options for clamping different angled and shaped parts. It does feel like it releases very reliably and easily. And you have this long lever arm, so it's just a very light action. It almost reminds me of the release lever on a good quality router. So as we attach a workpiece with these klick clamps, we'll see what kind of force we feel like we can generate. Yeah, I mean, that's just locked down hard. The only thing that's moving is my workbench now. Yet even with good pressure, that seems to release really easily for me. These may give my current light duty favorites, the trigger clamp, a run for their money. Remember to drop down to the description box for links to the Deep Reach cast jaw clamps, the Gearklamp, and new to me, the Kliklamp. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.